Good afternoon and a warm welcome again to the 2018 Netball Europe Open Championships here in sunny Gibraltar. We're here at the Victoria Stadium with 5 teams competing here over the next 4 days. Gibraltar, Israel and Republic of Ireland are joined by our 2 most recent members who just played off in the event opener earlier this evening. The Isle of Man defeated the UAE 55 goals to 45 earlier today. Will this game now between Israel and Gibraltar be any tighter? I'm Lynn Carpenter and I'm delighted to be joined today in the commentary box by Deb Jones, assistant coach of the UAE and former England player. Deb, welcome.
Thank you.
Very good game to start the match. You'll probably be slightly disappointed, if I know you very well, at the outcome of that game.
Yeah, you'd be absolutely right. I am disappointed, but there were lots of positives to take from that as well. And it'd be nice for the girls to draw on those positives and go back out tomorrow and hopefully put a lot of the things that we've talked about into practice again.
So we now move on to see Israel and Gibraltar take on each other here. Gibraltar ranked 31 in the world, Israel 38. You can see the Israeli squad up on your screens in front of us. You're very welcome joining us at home. Let me just take you through the starting 7 for Israel. In at goalkeeper, we have Kupchik. Goal defence, Glick. Wing defence, Clements. In at centre is Hallett. Wing attack, can't see, bear with me a second. Lieberman. And goal attack is Gordon, and goal shooter is Nomi Karma. Somebody that you will know very well. Nomi was most valuable player twice in the last 2 Netball Europe Challenge Open. So very experienced squad. Gibraltar now appearing on your screens in front of you. Home side, really excited to be hosting the competition this weekend. Goalkeeper Ravino, goal defence Reyes, wing defence is Okana, in at centre Joelle Marino, her sister Janice Marino at wing attack, goal attack Amy Pozo, and in at goal shooter Courtney Ferrer. So any players, Deb, you think we should be looking out for today?
Well, I think that the Marino girls for the Gibraltar team, they're both very experienced players, so I'm sure that they will be quite dominant out on the court today. It's really nice to see that they've got some youth, a blend of youth in there, a couple of girls that have played at the under-17s, and I've led a couple of teams at the under-17s before, so it'll be nice to see how well they fare against the Israelis.
And as you can see, if you're joining us from home, welcome. It should be a really good game this afternoon. Certainly we saw some good competition in the first game. Neither Isle of Man or yourselves as UAE had played international netball before, so really exciting to see both teams here in the region. Yeah,
and just adding to the Netball Europe family as well. I think it's really good just to get netball out there and played in lots of different pockets around the world. So and it's really good for the youth to have role models in all of those different countries. So it's great.
As you can see, the ball is coming in to start the quarter of this first game. Our umpires for this game, Ian Fuller from England and Susan Forsman from South Africa. James Thomas is our reserve umpire. And here we go, Israel getting the match underway. First centre pass.
Great defence by the Gibraltar team there. The Israelis were really struggling to get that centre pass out.
So Israeli have a relatively new team here this weekend. Lots of young players coming through, as you said, Deb, really trying to build for the future.
Yeah, and it's really good for them as well to know the physicalities of the game at international level. So this will be a really interesting test for them.
So Komar in at goal shooter.
Great
Makes
shot.
No surprise. As I say, most valuable player for 2 Netball Europe Open Championships now.
Well, Gibraltar just need to be disciplined there with their centre pass. If they've tied up defensively, they need to make use of it in attack. Oh, now they've got the opportunity to turn this back in their favour.
So the Marino sisters in at centre and wing attack.
Nice shot by Ferrer, the goal shooter there, just to bring it back level.
Courtney Ferrer, goal shooter, is a twin. Sister doesn't play netball, I don't think.
Just a little bit of patience there from Israel needed.
guarding Komar.
Oh, good hands there from the keeper, Ravino.
Ravino is one of their most experienced players for Gibraltar.
And
good
again,
hands.
And again, the Israelis just need to watch the hands of the Gibraltar team.
Ray's bringing the ball down.
Nice straight line ball there from Gibraltar. Oh, well held. That was really good from Joel there at centre.
And Ferrer again. Gibraltar slight lead, 2-1. Early stages in this game though. Still over 12 minutes of this game to go. Both teams experienced at this level. Great vision.
Good draw there from the goal attack, Roseau, so that they could get it into the goal shooter, Ferrer.
Gave a good acknowledgement to a team player there, so Israel bring it down. Komar.
Goal shooter just needs to be a little bit more patient on the ball. There are a couple of options there for her to see. But capitalises on it when she gets the opportunity, so well done to Komar.
Gibraltar leading 3-2. Both teams will want to just settle into this game. Great choice there. Oh!
Unlucky. Now that would have been an interesting goal.
Amy Pozo, goal attack there for Gibraltar, one of the young players of their squad, previous under-17. Previous most valuable player of the under-17s too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a really good achievement. It's really nice to see people out there that are fighting for their titles. I wonder if she'll be the one that gets it this year.
Well, whilst we don't get a vote here in the commentating box, Deb, I'll be asking you later on what your views are on this game. What do we know about anything?
Another opportunity for Gibraltar to go a little bit further ahead just to settle the team.
Good rebound there by Israel. Kupchik. Israel having to bring the ball back. Good pressure by Gibraltar.
Yeah, they're just struggling a little bit with the ball placement. It needs to go ahead of the defender into the space. Too much ball to hands. Oh, well held goal attack. Well done there from Gordon. Helps them to get back level.
So, very close game here. First 5 minutes of the first quarter of this match. Seeing nothing between the two teams. Israel on 3, Gibraltar on 3. Last year when these teams took to the court in the tournament, Ireland finished first, Gibraltar second and Israel third. So literally nothing to choose between them.
Good pop there from the goal shooter, Komar, showing her experience in that circle. That ball could have done with going outside the circle just to reset the triangle there for them.
So Kupchik brings it out again, finds Hallett at centre. I think Lieberman's okay, which is good. Hallett did well to hold that one in.
Komar doing a lot of work at goal shooter. That's really good for her team. And capitalises on the goal that she's been given there.
So their centre pass, Israeli now lead 5-3. We saw in the earlier game, Deb, between UAE and Isle of Man, took the two teams just a little bit of time to settle.
It did. There's lots of nerves out there on the court. You know, there are a couple of people out there maybe for the first time. So it is important just to, you know, handle the ball and get rid of those nerves so that the rest of it falls into place later on in the game.
So Ravino will bring it out to Rays. Good ball down the court. Gibraltar team linking well.
You know, and some of these teams have not played, you know, at this level of competition for 12 months, so they'll be finding it tough out there on the court.
Again, very great work into the circle. Pulls one back for Gibraltar, 5-4. Just over half this first quarter remaining.
This is going to be a really interesting game if it remains this tight.
Which it clearly is going to do. 5-all.
Back with centre pass. Oh, great hands there by the keeper. Ravenio showing her experience on the court again.
Good linking down to post in the circle.
Oh,
Great
nice
cut there by Ferrer.
Yeah, nice use of the outside circle players to reset. The Israel team need a little bit more movement on that centre pass, I think, to make it a little bit more difficult for Gibraltar to get out. But great shot there by the goal attack.
So Amy Pozo not afraid to put the ball up. Gives her team now a 2-goal lead against Israeli.
The wing defence is supporting really well on Israel's centre pass. I think that's a couple that she's had.
Lieberman with the ball. Omar coming out. Having to do quite a lot of work in there, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. I mean, Lieberman really could have been doing with looking back then for Clements, because she's a really good support player on the transverse line.
Wow, great interplay. Good understanding shown there.
Yeah. They've clearly played lots together. That was within training. That's a really good pass there underneath the post.
Marino finds Pozo straight into Ferrer.
As a youngster coming up from the under-17s, Pozo's having a really good game, feeding that circle well.
So we've got just over 6 minutes on the clock, and Gibraltar beating Israel 9-5 at this moment in time.
Ravenio coming out there for the fly. Very busy she is in the back end.
Meccano was offside. Good support for the home team here from the crowd. You hear the banging in the background.
Really lift these teams out on the court.
9-6.
Oh,
unlucky.
Joelle, they're just not managing to keep it.
Janice Marino picks it back up.
Great recovery. Well seen. That was a lovely feed there from Lieberman underneath the post.
I was just pulling it back because he had called for
Looks
Komar,
like
who
Komar's
seems
struggling.
to gone off with an injury. It's a shame this early in the game.
Yeah, she's been a dominant force down in the shooting circle, so they're going to need to resettle all over again. Not easy coming on at goal shoot.
Especially when you've got Rays flying out there.
Yeah.
The intercept to Akano. Not only is Akano a talented netballer, she's also the 800-metre record holder in Gibraltar and has been for 10 years.
Great to bring that level of fitness out onto the court. A little bit of confusion down there as to whose back line it actually is, but Israel end up with the advantage.
Kupchik brings it out. Unfortunate.
Glick couldn't manage just to hold on to that ball. Nice feed into the pocket to the wing attack to set up for the shoot. Oh, unlucky Amy Pozo. That would have been a good goal.
Good, intelligent play there, getting herself back on court before she picked it up. Oh, those are the hardest, aren't they, under the post?
Yeah, I'm sure they're every shooter's nightmare.
Luckily not in the final of the Commonwealth Games
yes,
for England.
Very true, very true. Ferry did very well there on the third attempt.
So with just under 4 minutes to go in this close first quarter between Gibraltar, the hosts, and Israel, we have Gibraltar leading 11-12 goes to 6. Can't keep up with Pozo.
Yeah, that's a really good start for them. And Amy Pozo, as a youngster, is just playing really well. Maturity beyond her years at the minute.
Kano did a great interception then down to Marino. Great.
Quick hands there by Joelle.
Glick and Kupchik having to work hard there in that circle for Israel. Oh, unlucky. Clements just replaying the ball after that good interception.
Yeah, ball placement's an issue. They just need to put it a little bit further ahead of the defensive players.
So here we go again. Kupchik gets the opportunity to bring it down.
Good vision there to swing the play as the shooter was holding on the left-hand side of the court.
13-6 now, Gibraltar lead.
It's a really good buffer for them heading into the second quarter, so let's hope they can keep that up as the home team. I'm sure their supporters will be loud in telling us that at quarter time.
Pozo scores again. Gap now a commanding 8 goals. Just under 2 minutes to go. What can Israel do here? You can see that Kermar had such an impact on the court.
Yeah, we just need a little bit better communication, I think, down in the shooting end. But you know, I'll give Gibraltar their due. You know, they're the ones that are making it extremely difficult. They're coming out for the ball, so Israel really uncertain as to where to put that feed.
Pozo again. Good consistent shooting here by Gibraltar.
Yeah, that must be real confidence builder as well for the outside circle players to know that when they feed it, you know, she's going to put the ball away for them.
Great feed in.
Great.
Between centre and goal shooter.
Great goal there from the shooter coming on. Like you said, it's not easy coming on, having had an injury. Much better pressure there from Israel in defence.
Another good goal by Ferrer. Gibraltar leading 16 goals to 8 here, Victoria Stadium in Gibraltar. Hope you're enjoying tuning into the game from wherever you are in the world. This isn't just a regional competition, as we know. We're all talking about netball. Need to get netball and the messages out about the sport all around the world, supporting each other.
You know, and I'm sure there are lots of people from the Isle of Man and from Ireland and from the UAE watching this game just so that they can see what their teams are going to come up against over the next couple of days.
And there we go. So into the end of the first quarter. Started really tight, but you can see Gibraltar just pulling away, leading by 9 goals at this point, 17 goals to 8. So if you were Israel, coach Deb, would you be putting yourself on at this stage?
I think I would be, yes. I think I'd be itching on the bench if it was me sitting over there. You know, but they just need to regroup a little bit. There were lots of positives from there. They had to reset the ball quite a lot, you know, thinking about their timing down in the attacking end. You know, maybe faking the first time ball, because the Gibraltar team are really good at picking off that first time ball, so they just need to readjust the timing maybe.
As we can see, they're running the changes there for Israel, so we'll wait to get the team sheet to see the substitutions officially. Yeah. Less movement down Gibraltar end.
Yeah, and you know, I really feel for the Israel coaches. It's really hard when you're going in with a deficit like that, but you know that that's not an undoable deficit. So it's about all of the positive points that they put out on the court and just reinforcing all of that to build the confidence in the team to come back out and hit the court hard.
And if these guys were watching the game that was just played earlier between the Isle of Man and UAE, they would have seen that, 9-goal gap, 11-goal gap. UAE pulled it back within 5. Their centre pass could have really put pressure on the Isle of Man, just didn't close out that particular opportunity.
Yeah, I know, and nothing's undoable. I was talking to the team before the game, and I was smiling with Liv Flanagan, who actually plays on our team, and way back in the day when England netball decided to have a Super Cup, I do remember being part of a London Tornadoes team, and she was part of Birmingham Blaze. We went into it 10 goals down into the last quarter, and we beat Blaze by 1. So nothing is impossible.
Well, we were saying earlier that the game isn't over until that final whistle goes, and we've seen so many games where there may only be 10, 15 seconds on the clock, but it can make all the difference if a team really capitalises, particularly if the game is close.
Yeah, and sometimes the opposition can get really rattled by some teams coming really close to them, particularly if they've had the lead and it's been quite comfortable throughout the rest of the game. When the opposition takes it to them, sometimes they struggle with that, and you've got to capitalise on those weaknesses.
And thank you to everybody who's joining in at home. Can see all your comments and views and the fact that you're enjoying the netball here. So great to have you with us. We've put up Ashley Hall, the captain of Isle of Man's interview after the game. It's really quite interesting how important this is for players who've never played at this level before.
Yeah, they've got a lot of nerves to cope with, and that's really your job as a coach and the captain and the vice captain to make sure that they feel settled out there on the court. We all remember what that feels like to get our first cap, and it's a mixture of, big amount of nerves and the pressure that comes along with that, but actually massive excitement for you getting your first cap. So, there was lots of that within, I'm sure, the Isle of Man, but certainly within the UAE team this morning.
Absolutely. So we will see the teams shortly take to the court again. 2 games here today in the Victoria Stadium in Gibraltar, but tomorrow, Friday, we've got a bit of a netball fest for you. So if you're planning on working, I'd take a duvet day, stay at home, because we've got 4 games to bring you tomorrow in total on Friday. Israel and Ireland take to the court at 9:30. Gibraltar against UAE at 11:30. Then UAE and Israel again on at 5. Isle of Man at 7 o'clock. So a bit of a challenge for some teams. 2 games tomorrow, Deb.
Yeah, and some of the UAE players in particular have not played 2 matches at that level in one day. So the recovery issues for them, they've got to think about that and make sure that they rest up in between those games effectively.
Are you enforcing ice baths with everybody?
Absolutely, yes.
You're so rotten. So mean. So here we go. Start of the second half. Israel 8, Gibraltar leading 17, but great quick turnover by Israel.
Oh, fantastic intercept there by the centre just to change the play.
So as the viewers at home can see, we've had a few substitutions. So for Gibraltar, Cross has come to wing defence, Akano to goal defence, and Reyes to goalkeeper. And for Israel, they brought on a number of new players. We're just getting the details of those.
Well, it might be a new defensive unit for Gibraltar, but they've just brought the ball out really well there through the back end and serviced their shoot as well.
Marino, great pass and understanding to Pozo under the post. Scores, so takes Gibraltar to 19.
Amy Pozo having a great game so far.
Attacking unit is working really effectively, Deb, isn't it?
It is really well. But the ball is in the air, quite long into that pocket. So Israel need to recognise that and maybe come out for that intercept.
So as we can see there at the back, Kerr's come on at goalkeeper for Israel. Kupchik's gone to wing defence and Levin's on at centre. So for Gabby, Levin's at centre for Israel. This is her first international tournament. She should be delighted to be on the court today. Here goes Marino again, Joel there. Janice and Joel, the two most experienced players.
Rare miss from Amy Pozo, but Israel have capitalised on that and got the rebound. Let's see if they can take this to a full conversion. Good tenacity there by Reyes in at keeper. Oh, well done, Israel. Great to get the scoreline changed. 19-9 in Gibraltar's favour. I wonder if they're going to come back hard this quarter, the Israelis.
They're going to give it their best shot, clearly.
Right, let's see if they can utilise this.
So Levin's there, centre. Good defence though.
Yeah.
Hayakana back.
Little bit of patience from Israel though. You know, we need to look at there being more than one option for the ball. And the first person that you see is not necessarily the person that you should be giving the ball to.
Right, give the ball to Fer and she's quite happy to shoot.
Yeah, very comfortable there underneath the post.
So 4 minutes gone. And we see that gap just extending slightly in Gibraltar's favour. 20 goals to 9 against Israel. Good pressure by Levins there.
The Marino sisters there really showing their experience. Lots of patience down there. Good use of the body to protect the ball from the defender. Oh, great intercept.
Unlucky cross called for contact there. Sorry, footwork.
Good hands from Reyes.
Evans on the centre.
Oh. She's on fire, Reyes. Just got a really good tip out of court and then gets the full intercept for her team.
So interesting that change of defensive circle down there for Gibraltar, making an immediate impact.
Yeah, equally as dynamic as the last, I would say, at the minute.
Pozo scores again. Marino finds Kano. And what a great shot, very confident by Amy Pozo.
Yeah, lovely passage of play as well by the Gibraltar team.
Israel really need to cut out those errors, but Akana's...
Yeah, they just need to delay that ball coming through the court.
Impact to Kerr being felt there.
Yeah, rare passing over there from Joel Marino.
It's always interesting when players react. And think, oh. And half the time it's not because they're necessarily disagreeing with the umpire. There's just so much effort gone in. Thinking, oh.
And a lot of the time it's frustration with themselves as well.
Of course.
Let's hope that that's how it's interpreted.
So here come Israel again. Gibraltar crowd giving the team a lot of support. Oh, unfortunate. Good rebound. Gordon.
Goal attack just needs to settle a little bit. Unlucky Gordon. She just needs to relax before she takes that shot.
A couple of unforced errors there by Cross.
Yeah, another opportunity to see if we can get this to goal.
Well read by Joelle Marino there. Just a few errors creeping in from both sides. Another handling error by Cross.
Good defensive play by the Gibraltar team there. The Israelis finding it difficult to find their attackers. Like you said, Lynn, there are lots of unforced errors down in this attacking third. The players just need to be a little bit more disciplined.
You know, there's another example. There's no real particular pressure on the ball. Wrong choice of option.
Yeah, and as a coach, that's really difficult to watch that on the sideline when you know that they've got every opportunity.
Gibraltar, though, intending to capitalise.
Yeah, better pressure, though, from the circle defence for Israel. Made it a little bit more difficult for them to find the space in that circle.
So Pozo finds Ferrer under the post.
Very cool, calm, collected. Finishes off well.
24 to Gibraltar. Israel have only scored one goal this quarter so far. They'll be disappointed with that.
Yeah, I think so, particularly as I'm sure that the team talk on the sideline will have wanted them to do a little bit better coming out, in a little bit harder on the Gibraltars.
So it feels like the match is just slightly running away from Israel at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and that's difficult as players out on the court to to keep your head up and to keep fighting for everything.
We do know that Israel have quite radically changed their squad. They're building for the future. So, having spoken to some of the Israeli management earlier today, they said very much that they've got a lot of youngsters in the team. They see this as kind of the opportunity to think about 2-3 years' time.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do, and this is the environment to be able to do it in. And I'm sure, in spite of the scoreline, they'll be able to take a lot of individual positives away from this, and they need to put that together then into their units. And it's good for them, for those players to have exposure at this level, because when the coaches are expecting intensity on the court, they then recognise why that's needed.
So 27 plays 9, just 5 minutes here until half time. Great to see the quality of the court here in Gibraltar. Sunken posts, obviously international standard as you'd expect at a ranking game such as the Open.
But fully sprung, felt really good out there for the players.
I think Gibraltar has a lot of support for sport overall, but the netball here, the Minister of Sport, the actual ministry, so many of the government officials support and recognise sport and know how much taking part can mean to individuals, but also to the team and countries as a whole. And the impact on women and girls sport is a real positive.
Yeah, what a great facility for them to have. I'm sure they use this as their training venue and for all of their match play. And this is fantastic. I mean, there's nothing like this in the UAE. It's typically basketball, so we're working to try and change that. But yeah, this is a great venue.
And of course our thanks to Gibraltar and Gibraltar Tourism for all the support they're giving the players, all the transport that's been put on. The actual commitment of Gibraltar as a country to the netball has been phenomenal, and we can't offer our thanks enough to everyone who's made this event possible.
Yeah, definitely. I concur, Lynn.
Great interplay there again. Marino to Pozo. Hits the 3:10 mark, 30 playing 9. Israel really struggling to get the ball and any attempts on goal at this moment in time.
Yeah, they are, and I was just smiling there to myself about Amy Pozo there on the ball. I mean, age literally is just a number, isn't it? You know, she
well, that's what I keep saying, Dan. Being somewhat at the other end of the spectrum. I don't get any recalls, though. That's better. Oh, unlucky, but great rebound by Rays. Not giving the shooters any second opportunity. Cross brings it out. Well held, Marino.
Yeah, the Israel team just needs to step up the pressure a little bit on these players. It's too free flowing down in the attacking end. Great scoreline though for Gibraltar in their first game.
So a good start to the first half, as we saw in the last game there. It was very much a game of two halves. Isle of Man dominant in the first, UAE did much better in the second. I think UAE actually won the second half.
No, just the last quarter. It was close all the way through, but you know, when you're dropping 5 goals and 4 goals, you know, overall that damages you as a team. But you know, I was really pleased with a few things that came up in that last quarter, but they just need to repeat it, and consistency is key, I think.
So down just over a minute and a half to go. Another turnover for Gibraltar. Cross to take this.
Yeah, I'm sure with a scoreline like this that the Gibraltar management will be running their whole bench. Be wanting to save some legs for the next couple of days. I know that they've got a really tough game against Republic of Ireland on day 4, so
good hands by Cross. And we were talking earlier about the commitment these players make, not only on the netball court or off it training to be on the court, but also the financial commitment that goes in, with there being a lack of funding for many of these teams and many players having to fund travel and everything else themselves.
And you know, apart from the top countries, that is the case all around the world, isn't it? You know, they're sacrificing, you know, family time. I'm sure, you know, some of these have got families that they've got to consider as well, and that's not easy, and full-time jobs and trying to fit your training in and around that. It's not easy at all.
So Gibraltar are going to go into half-time with a very comfortable lead, 35 goals at the moment, Israel on 9. They've really come up against a wall of Gibraltar defence down there in this quarter, giving nothing away.
Yeah, I'm sure it just feels like a sea of red out there at the minute for the Israel team.
Positive to end the quarter on. I think that will be it for this quarter. So going into half-time, Gibraltar 35 goals to Israel's 10. Shame that Komar had to come off so early in the game, such an influential player. You see the Gibraltar team pleased with where they are so far. Thoughts so far, Deb?
Yeah, I mean, it is really unfortunate that Israel had to lose Komar, because I'm sure the scoreline would have been much closer. She was a real force to be reckoned with down in that attacking circle. So, but you know, on the flip side of that, it's really important to be able to give opportunities to other players and just to see how they fare against you know, international competition. But you know, again, on the flip side, Gibraltar doing really well out there. A fantastic scoreline for them. First game, home soil, 35-10. You know, they've come out really hard. They've capitalised on every opportunity. They've made very few unforced errors. So, you know, well done to them.
So as we were saying, we are now going to introduce into the commentary box somebody.
The ball away for them.
Great feed in. You can see we've had a few substitutions. So for Gibraltar,
Keeper. Oh, well done, Israel. And the first person that you see is not necessarily the person that you should be giving the ball to. Marino sisters there, really showing their experience. Lots of patience down there. Good.
Pozo finds fair under the post.
Very cool, calm. It's the right thing to do, and this is the environment to be able to do it in. And I'm sure, in spite of the scoreline, players have exposure at this level because when the coaches are expecting intensity on the court, they then recognise
It can mean to individuals, but also to the team and countries as a whole. For many of these teams, and many players having to fund travel and everything else themselves.
A minute for the Israel team.
Really taken me by surprise, if I'm honest, so that's been very impressive. And of course the scoreline of 34-10 is pleasing for the governor of Gibraltar to see. I did a bit of reading before I came here, and I think Moira Gomez and her team, what they've done here, the statistics over the last 4 years of a 13% increase. I did a little bit of quick maths up there. I think almost 4% of the female population of Gibraltar play netball, which is just absolutely incredible.
To be honest, I'm surprised it's not higher, to be honest, because it's such a popular sport here. I mean, we've watched the team today. I've been involved in Netball Europe 13, 14 years now, so I've known Moira and Suzette all of that time. And I have to say, Gibraltar is extremely lucky to have such passionate volunteers, because they all give their time, as you know, Ed, freely and with absolute pleasure to the sport. And having watched the team develop over the years, they've done a tremendous job. The competition that they now put out on court is phenomenal.
Well, I think that for me, and I've been here for two and a bit years, that Gibraltar's all about that. It's all about working together for the greater good, and the unity of that community gets together behind everything that Gibraltar does. And netball is just a really good example of how a small place of 34,000 is able to host a competition like this and then compete with nations with an awful lot more people in it, and in a way which has been decisively in their favour, as you see the score. I mean, what a fun. So it's a manifestation of effectively what is the beauty of Gibraltar, is working together as a community for the greater good.
And I've had the pleasure of being here many times, partly involved with netball, but also as part of the judging panel in 2009 for Miss Gibraltar, when Kayano Alderino was crowned winner and went on to win Miss World for Gibraltar. And every time I come to Gibraltar, you can sense the aspiration and the ambition. And talking to Moira today, they are really keen to put in a serious bid to potentially host the Netball World Youth Cup here in Gibraltar in the next few years. How would the government feel about being behind that and really helping make it happen?
Well, I have no doubt. I mean, I won't speak for the Chief Minister. I'm sure he's got his views, but I have no doubt he'd be absolutely behind that. I mean, Gibraltar is all about bold ambition. And, I think they are a very good example of you don't have to be big to be mighty or successful. and that's the mantra. And I think, if you are small, you have to be bold and ambitious in a way that people and countries who are somewhat larger, don't have to work quite as hard. But I think they're all for seizing a challenge, and they're all for about making the best of it.
And the fact that Gibraltar is actually in the position to be able to even put in a credible bid is all around facilities, infrastructure, support in and around. This weekend has been tremendous, the support we've had for transport. We know that tourism here in Gibraltar has offered the players opportunities to go and see things free of charge. It's not just been about netball. You've really opened the doors to Gibraltar and welcomed everybody into the Rock.
No, it isn't all about Gibraltar. I mean, I'd also say well done to Netball Europe, because we've got countries from the Middle East here coming together in Gibraltar, unifying as a sporting community, which is an important statement for the world. Never mind just netball. So well done for you. I think if you do look outside the stadium here, there's a massive rebuilding programme going on all the sports facilities for the Island Games next July 2019, which will be a fabulous legacy, not only for netball but for all the sports. And again, that's just another manifestation of Gibraltar's ambition, and they see sport as one of the ways of progressing their people, progressing their jurisdiction, to be able to compete and be a part of the global community. And clearly, just looking at this competition here with countries represented from all around the world, it's doing it.
Not only do we have the teams that are playing here this weekend and the 11 full members in the region, but the live streaming is going out around the world. There are people all over literally the globe, able to tune in and watch this. And it shows that netball isn't just about the elite, which is incredibly important. We had the Commonwealth Games, which was amazing, but all of these teams competing and developing are the ones in the future who will push the ones at the top now. So that constant desire and ambition is right for the sport overall. So we thank you very much in Gibraltar for all your support this weekend. We're delighted to be here again, and we clearly hope to return in the future. I'm glad you have enjoyed the netball. I hope you'll stay for the rest of the day. And tomorrow we've got 4 games, as you probably know, to see some more of the tremendous netball here. But Ed, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate that.
Then it's a pleasure. Well done, and come on, Gibraltar. Thank you.
Of course you'd say that. Thank you very much. So as the teams are getting ready to come back onto the court, we will shortly bring you the update of any changes. My thanks to Lieutenant General Sir Eddie Davis for joining me at half-time there. What an honour for us at Netball Europe to be able to host someone from government to come and talk to us about the importance of sport here in Gibraltar and the fact of how much netball means. And genuinely, the support that countries like Gibraltar get from government are just so critically important, Deb.
Yeah, it is. You know, and we've all got to start somewhere as well. I don't know about the funding in the Isle of Man, but certainly in the UAE there is none at all. You know, these girls are paying to come, paying to train, and and it's really difficult when your sport's in its infancy.
So as you can see, the teams are taking to the court now for the third quarter. Gibraltar 35, Israel 10. We'll see who's going to be the first to score this 15 minutes.
Well held, Ferrer. That was a great goal.
So as we can see, Komar is back on the court. It's good to see from an Israel point of view. Goal attack. Come back on. Marino bring the ball down. Uncharacteristic misunderstanding there between Ferrer and Marino. Her bringing the ball out. Israel. Israel working hard to bring the ball down, get that opportunity on shot, but
it's great to see Komar back on the court at goal attack. Let's hope this settles the front end a little bit for Israel.
Oh, great flying interception there.
Yeah, that'll be a real confidence booster. We just need to balance that circle edge a little bit better to give her more options. But again, that will come with experience and time. You know, they are a developing unit, so I'm sure they'll be watching this game back and wanting to make some of those unit changes and put those into practice.
Good rebound by Ferrer. As we see, Martinez now on at goal attack for Gibraltar. Nune on at wing attack, getting a run out. Gregg's come on at wing defence for Gibraltar, and Ray's back to goal defence. Ravino back on at goalkeeper.
Yeah, I did say, didn't I, Lynn, that I'm sure that Gibraltar will be wanting to run their bench to save some legs for their tougher games that are going to be later on in this competition. So that's really nice to be able to blood all of your players as a coach.
Martinez almost popped it in, but Ferrer gets the rebound.
Amy Pozo coming off, she must be really pleased with her performance in the first half of that game. Already we can see the difference that Komar's having in that circle. I think the shooter failing to understand there what Ian Fuller wants from her.
Oh, good jump there. by Ravino, back on at goalkeeper. So Gibraltar have clearly got a lot of flexibility in their combinations on court.
Yeah, and that's great. And as a coach, when you've got a 28-goal buffer, it's really nice to be able to run out different combinations and give people the opportunity to play in different units.
Oh, good pressure there. Israel still struggling slightly to bring it in. Omar calls the penalty. So Israel 11 to Gib 38.
That's that hope that goal from Israel that gives them the motivation in this quarter to be able to try and do a little bit more damage than they did in the last quarter to the Gibraltar team. It's really difficult for a ball carrier when all you can see is red. You know, they need to be making their first lead a little bit sooner to try and lose that defender and then cut in front.
There's limited options, I think, coming down the court, isn't there? Perhaps timing slightly out.
Yeah, and maybe that's a little bit of an experience as well out on the court.
It's always great reactions by...
Yeah, but again, patience needed by the wing attack there. She had a 2-on-1 situation, but chose to put it in the middle. You know, I think that's where the experience comes in, doesn't it, Lynn?
And you only get that experience when you play at this level on a regular basis. I think we say that about international sport a lot. And when you look at the number of caps that players like teams like Israel and Gibraltar have compared to others, it is about that consistency of playing at that level, day in and day out almost. That means that you perform when you really need to.
Yeah, you know, being able to think clearly under pressure and being able to close out, you know, whether it's a quarter or whether it's a full game, you know, makes a big difference to a team.
Gordon, wing attack for Israel. That pressure from Gibraltar. Ravino will bring it out again. Marino, wing attack. Linking well with Marino. Into Martinet. 39 against 11. A little bit more of a balanced quarter, but still going in Gibraltar's favour at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice to see Israel, you know, trailing by 27, but being able to manage to change things around a little bit. I mean, they're playing their bench as well and trying lots of like players in lots of different combinations. You know, it's important for them to do exactly the same as Gibraltar, to be honest.
If you are watching at home, helpful reminder by Phil Thomas that we are an hour ahead of some of our countries here. So if you're in the UK, we're an hour ahead of you. However, if you are east, I'm not actually sure where partners like Switzerland, UAE, how many hours are you ahead of here?
We are 3 ahead of the UK.
And if we are 1 hour ahead of the UK here, does that make that 2 hours?
I think so. My maths is not great, but I think we're there. Yeah.
So great turnover by Israel.
Think about numbers. It would be really interesting to do an average age of each of the squads, Lynn, actually. Could have a number fest over the next couple of days.
Well, interestingly, and we didn't make too much of an issue because age is only a number, Isle of Man had 3 players who were 37, 38 and 39.
Wow.
And a blend of youth in there as well, so that kind of experience and younger side playing out well. I think you have at UAE quite a blend.
Yeah, we do, definitely. You know, and it's really important to us to expose the youth, because, you know, that's where their game is made, isn't it? You know, and having that experience on the court is really good for them.
And as we said earlier, Israel are rebuilding, so their squad here is both relatively young but also inexperienced. So, you know, 2-3 years at this level, we'll see a team which will look very different to it does now in terms of their play. Great shot in there. So Israel creeping back into this game. Yeah, it's certainly not all one way this quarter.
No, it's not. You know, they're chipping away at the scoreline all the time. They're certainly having a better run of the game in this quarter than they did in the last quarter, which is great for their confidence. I think that's one of the better centre passes that I've seen them have as well. Much easier to get the ball out there.
Confident, leads into the circle. Finish like that by Komar really is going to lift Israel.
Yeah, that was great. They really deserved that after the way that they pulled that centre pass out.
So I reckon it's about 6-4 in this quarter at the moment, 6-5.
You know, Israel have got to be really pleased with that. There's a little bit more patience on the ball. They're finding their players. Again, just patience on that feed into the circle. That's the crucial bit.
Do you think that's lack of understanding, just lack of timing, not sure what the opposition are going to do?
Yeah, just rushing, a little bit more patience, maybe waiting for more than one option. You know, she'd only got one option there in the circle rather than looking out to see if there was anything else.
You know, disappointed on losing the ball there, but
yeah, just a little bit premature. I think she was anticipating that the umpire was going to blow a whistle a little bit sooner. I know that I've certainly been there.
On a number of occasions, I might add. I remember Deb Jones. So much better this quarter by Israel. They'll be pleased with this when they watch the match back. Just unfortunate misunderstanding there, a bit of ball handling.
Yeah, the communication looks better as well. But again, Komar being a real linchpin for that squad.
You know, turnover now to Israel, so good pressure on their defence.
Labens is doing a lot of work down there. She's playing really well in that goal defence position in this quarter.
Yeah, she's combining really strongly with Kupchik back at goalkeeper.
Just looks a little bit more comfortable for Israel in this quarter.
Nice in and out by Komar. You can see why she's been most valuable player.
Yeah, definitely.
On 2 occasions over 2 years.
Yeah, so I wonder if she's going to make it a Triple Crown.
Farah slots it away.
She's having a lovely game as well.
And just as a reminder, the coaching team of each side choose the most valuable player of the opposition in each game. All done sort of anonymously, handed to the appeals panel, and the scores on the doors are added up, and when we do the presentation on Sunday, the winning player who has the most nominations is named most valuable player.
Yeah, it's great. What a great honour from a tournament like this.
So 2.5 minutes to go. Gibraltar 45 goals against Israel 16, but a much better quarter by Israel. They'll be feeling more comfortable with their play, a little bit more confident.
Yeah, and it's great to see them come back like that, you know, from such a deficit and not having a great quarter in the second quarter, to come back as a team. That takes lots of resilience, so well done them. You know, these combinations are working much better for them as well. They look a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more composed.
Great take by Farah, lovely step into the post. Looks easy, but it's quite difficult to keep your balance. put the ball away off one foot. She made it look easy.
Yeah, she did. She has been for the whole game, to be fair, Lynn.
So 30 goals split these two teams now. Oh, good pressure by
Labens. That was great. She's having a good game down at the bottom end of the court.
Martinez followed her shot in really well there. Just over a minute to go. Do we hit three-quarter time?
Yeah, and Israel have got to be really pleased with what they've put out there on the court this quarter.
Again, follows the ball in really well.
Yeah, you know, she's come on really well, Martinez. Big shoes to fill after taking Pozo off. Oh, well read by Rays.
She's had a good game.
Yeah, the hunter hunting well.
Yeah, but good hands there by Kupchik still, putting the pressure on. 49 now plays 16. Just a few seconds left now. What is Gibraltar going to do with it?
A little bit too much space there for the Gibraltar team, but they capitalise on it yet again, making it 50, half a century for the Gibraltar team. I'm surprised the crowd have not gone wild. Oh, there we go, there we go.
You were saying, Dave.
Yeah.
So, the end of the third quarter of the second game here at the Netball Europe Open Challenge event in Gibraltar. The hosts are 50 goals against Israel's 16. Better quarter by Israel, but there can be no denying that Gibraltar have come out really strongly and really, obviously, clearly want to put their mark on this tournament.
Yeah, they're definitely a dominant force out there today, and you know, like I've said, you know, what a great start for them. Home venue, great support in the crowd. I'm loving the thunder sticks. They're making it really entertaining.
So I'm looking to see if Sian Berman, who commentated with me in the last game, is putting her kit on, joint coach, but also on the team list.
I did joke with the team this morning when we were doing the team talk. I said I was really disappointed that there wasn't a 12th spot available for me. You know, I would have met the residency rules, but poor Liv Nason wouldn't have. You know, she's not quite there yet, but I certainly do. I'm not quite sure I could put my body together though.
I was going to say, I'm not sure you'd be at that standard, would you, Deb? There's your players.
Absolutely. I'm sure that I would still be able to give it for 15 minutes.
5. The outside. So we talk a lot about netball at this level. It's not the top 12 in the world, but the level of competition, the quality of the play, the way in which the teams are playing, I think is a credit to the teams here. And netball, as we saw at the Commonwealth Games, isn't just about one or two teams. It's becoming more about the depth of the ones in the top 5 or 6. 5 to 10 is developing and changing. We've got 4 UK teams in that top 10. Unless we all completely commit to developing everybody in netball, there will never be that kind of drive to improve. And you look at Uganda coming through and challenging the top ranks. Malawi appeared 20 years ago on the scene, maintained a top 5th or 6th place in the world. What else do we need to do as a netballing community to make sure that we take these teams with us? We don't leave, you know, them where they are and don't create those opportunities.
Yeah, I think governments have really got to, you know, get behind this and put lots of funding, not just into youth sport, but into elite sport as well. You know, it's absolutely crucial, like you said, that we've got to build it. The more teams there are, the more depth there is, the more we challenge those top players. But, you know, we're not all, you know, things are not all equal. And without that funding and support for players, they really can't give the commitment that is needed to be, you know, playing at that level. You know, you and I both know back in the day it does take a lot of commitment, and you really need to be full-time to be competing anywhere in the top 5 at the minute. So, you know, and I'm loving the thread of Wake Up Netball, that is going viral at the minute, and I'm hoping that there are lots of people out there that have got deep pockets that can find something to put into women's sport and help us to grow it even more.
Because for me, this isn't just about elite sport. This is about changing women and girls' lives. This is about giving people opportunities, showing that they can do something, to be able to have the confidence to come on court and play at this level, reflects into their personal lives, their home lives, what they can do outside. The number of people I've talked to who say to me, literally, netball has changed my life.
Yeah, that's great. And the friendship and camaraderie, both on and off the court, and we call it, a netball family. And that's exactly what it is. It doesn't matter, whether you played with somebody 20 years ago or 2 years ago. You're all part of that same team forever, which is brilliant. And that's the kind of support network that women and girls actually need.
So if you're out there, you're a company, you're an individual, you're somebody who loves the sport, there are many, many teams and individuals who need financial input, and if you want to make a difference to people's lives, there's no better way of doing it than through netball.
And this is why I'm loving all the exposure at the minute. Massive hats off to Netball Europe and these live feeds that are going all around the world. Think about your brand, having that on the front or back of a dress, and the exposure that will get, and the more TV coverage that is out there, the bigger that's going to be for you and your companies. So please, if any of you are out there and wanting to make a difference, please do get in touch.
Pick up the phone and call me. So an impassioned plea by us both out there. If you're listening, you want to support, doesn't matter how much or how little, or even if you just want to give your time, because netball is a sport that absolutely relies on volunteers. There are some member countries who are very fortunate, who've developed and have attained a level of performance that's meant that they've got additional funding, and credit to them for that. But most teams in the world only rely on volunteers.
Yeah. And that's the same everywhere, I think. I'm sure if we asked all of the teams that are here at the Challenge competition this weekend, that our netball wouldn't function without those volunteers.
So back we are here on the court. Last quarter today, Gibraltar leading 51-17.
Oh, just a little bit too far there for Marino. Put her on full extension then.
So Gibraltar, as you can see, continue to run the changes, confident in their squad, trying out lots of combinations.
I love the fact that they're getting a chance to rest legs as well.
Hernandez now on at centre. As Deb just said, Marino back on at wing attack, and Akana now back on at goal defence. Great opportunity for these two teams to really try out different combinations.
Yeah, I don't think we've had the Akano-Ravino combination yet, so let's see how that one works for Gibraltar.
Oh, well held Komar.
Oh, great tenacity there by Greg.
Kept it in court. Good chasing down.
It's interesting to see that they've left Ferrer on at goal shooter, the stalwart of the team. She's had really good service, high shooting volume from her and lots of success. I'd be interested to see her shooting stats at the end of the game, actually.
I think they'd be pretty effective.
Yeah, I think so too. But that attacking unit down at the bottom end for Israel is working really effectively too.
I think one of the things Israel struggled to achieve has been actual attempts at goal. They had very few in the first half, improved a little bit in the last quarter, which they'll be pleased about.
Yeah, it's really interesting that they've kept the same lineup, Israel, coming out. Coach, great that the coach has recognised that, they've settled really well and that they managed to capitalise on a few opportunities that they had. Oh, and in saying that, would you believe it, we've had a change at centre. Clearly an injury for centre.
I think she indicated to the umpire she was injured. If you look at the 12 for Israel, 2 of them are sort of bench management, joint coach, Sean Berman, and Robin Ginsberg, who's the team manager. So not only do volunteers double up, but the management have to double up as potential players. Yeah. And with a squad of 10, you get a couple of injuries, you're going to have to put yourselves out there.
Yeah, true.
Potentially.
I'm sure they're hoping that that's not the case, so they don't have to run on off the bench.
Martinez scores again. Gibraltar 52, Israel 19. So interesting start to the tournament. Great intercept there by Marino. So if you looked at their world rankings, which we mentioned earlier on today, expecting this kind of position where we are now, Gibraltar ranked 31 in the world, Israel 38, so possibly expecting Gibraltar to perform better.
Yeah, I expected the score to be a little bit closer actually, with a 31 and a 38. So, you know, does that show the gap between those teams in the 30s like you were talking about earlier? But then, you know, on the other hand, they're bringing a lot of development players through, so we expect there to be a little fluctuation in the scores. So maybe not reflective necessarily of their 38th world ranking. Oh, Farah trying again to shoot off the back line. She did score a great goal earlier like that.
Well, if you don't try, you don't get, do you?
Absolutely.
In this game.
Marino's really busy as a wing attack, looking to pick off quite a lot of ball. Having a bit of a tussle there with the wing defence, Clements.
It's great to see other sports teams here in Gibraltar supporting the netball. Gibraltar Cricket wishing the Gibraltar national team best of luck here today.
God, it feels like there can't be anybody possibly watching that online for Gibraltar. It feels like they're all behind us, Lynn.
Sounds like it does. I hope if Gibraltar Cricket aren't here today, they're intending to be here this weekend. They haven't got far to go after all. Great take by Farah, very clever step into the post.
Yeah, nailing another goal.
53 plays 20.
I wonder what the coaching bench target was for this quarter and how disciplined they wanted them to remain as players, because it's, you know, it's only too easy, we know, you're 33 goals up at the minute, you know, take your foot off the gas, but actually you need to be making sure that you're finishing out the game as you started it. So that'll be interesting to see this final scoreline.
I think it also depends who your coach is, because there's some coaches I play for, I wouldn't dare take my eye off the targets that we've been set. Couldn't possibly mention them on air. Her initials begin with MB.
I think MJ is an interesting one too.
I've heard DJ is also a tough taskmaster. So Farah confidently puts another away. So 34 gap now. Israel really need to just consolidate where they are, take something from this last half of the game.
Yeah, those defenders could pick up some of that ball that is hitting the pocket. It's in the air for quite a while, so maybe that's something that Israel want to go away and work on.
Good move there. Komar takes a step in. Oh, sometimes they're the hardest.
Yeah. Oh, we said that earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
They're always the ones that shooters remember most.
Martinez.
Great shot again from Farah. But Laban's, I'm really impressed with Laban's at the minute. You know, she's working really hard down there in that circle. The ball's not going in quite as easily to Martinez, so that's really good for the Israeli team.
Another substitution here for Gibraltar. New wing attack on. Martinez. Good rebound by Kupchik. Wasn't sure who was going to come out with that one. Very competitive.
She's contesting every ball. It's really good to see in that circle.
Oof. Howard.
Lots of long ball from Gibraltar.
Good triangle. Oof. Just feels like they started to miss one or two. Whether that's concentration, tiredness creeping in perhaps.
Yeah, or recognising that they're 36 goals up and maybe becoming a little bit complacent. Oh, good hands.
Well done.
Yeah, good use of the triangle by the goal shooter. Good support play from the outside circle players.
Good ball down. Good pressure by.
It is. Really good pressure by. I did say
Defenders,
that,
yeah, not making that ball easy into the circle, really making the attack think about where they're going to place the ball, hesitating. Oh, it's a good shot. So we've got just over 4 minutes to go in this game. Who would you say has been standout player for you, Deb?
Oh gosh, I mean, Amy Pozo, for her youth and what she did in the first half of that game, for me, she was really good in the front end, but her and Ferrer as a combination together are a real force to be reckoned with out there on the court. Comar's made a difference coming back on to that team, raising the confidence levels, and I've really liked Laban's in at goal defence as well.
Yeah, she's had a really effective game.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that there are one or two players that are doing particularly well, but nobody stand out, just shows the quality of how they're all playing well as teams.
Yeah.
Great vision there into the circle. Komar. Martinez. Almost too easy into Ferrer there into the post.
They need to cut some of that ball out, get front position, make her work harder for that ball.
So 60 now to Gibraltar, 21 Israel. Just under 3 minutes to go. Great shot.
Good hands. Unlucky there by Laban's, but at least she's contesting every ball, and that's exactly what a coach wants to see. Hungry for the intercept.
Oh, unlucky Komar. Good to see that the players are all still competing, as you'd expect them to.
Yeah, absolutely. As a coach, I'd be wanting my, you do, don't you? Your players should be playing until the last whistle. Good hands there. Great turnover by Israel. Let's see if they can capitalise on this in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Good ball by Lebanon.
Oh, well
brilliant.
seen, Barravino, showing her experience out there on the court again.
She's shown she can play very versatile netball. Goalkeeper, goal defence.
Maybe she thought it had been a little bit quiet down there in the defensive end and fancied a poke at the ball.
But she heard you saying, let's see what Israel can do. So, 62 goals plays 23. Just over a minute now to the end of this game.
Come on, can Israel make it? 25.
No, it didn't quite capitalise on that. Oh, great long ball. Farah was really awake to it.
I think more look than judgment, I think, that feed into the circle.
Great positioning by Martinet there. Oh.
Rolls in to make it 63-23.
So 40 goal difference. Gibraltar are going to be very pleased with this. That's quite significant. 10 goal gap almost per quarter.
Yeah.
Israel probably disappointed.
Unlucky there not to be able to capitalise on that at the end. I thought that they might have been going for 65.
Yep. Here we go, come on. 30 seconds just under to go. Komar. Oh, great defence again.
Great hands there by Greg.
She's had a good game. Wing defence.
Yeah, I think
she came on.
You know, wing defence is probably one of the most difficult positions on the court, isn't it?
I wouldn't say so. No, not really. For those of you who don't know what that comment was aimed at, Deb Jones used to play wing defence. So there we have it, the end of the second game here in sunny Gibraltar. A great win for the host Gibraltar, 64 goals against the Isle of Man's 23. You saw the crowd there, the place is packed here at the Victoria Stadium. Fantastic support for both teams, in fact, but of course Gibraltar will be very, very pleased to have so many people from the Rock here live in the stadium. So Deb, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, really good. Lots to learn for both teams actually, but more so for the Israel team, who got lots of development, lots of positives though in certain patches of that game that they'll want to.
Of understanding, just lack of timing, not sure what the opposition are going to do.
Yeah, just rush in a little bit more.
Farah slots it away. What's she going to do with it?
A little bit too much space there for the Gibraltar team, but they
can play by us both out there. If you're listening, you want to support, doesn't matter how much or how little, or even if we are now. Gibraltar ranked 31 in the world, Israel 38, so possibly expecting attack, think about where they're going to place the ball, hesitating. Oh, it's a good shot.
Yeah, absolutely. As a coach, I'd be wanting my, you do, don't you? Your players should be playing into.
Crowds here to support. So there we go. See Gibraltar waving to the home fans. What a great game. What a great first day to the Netball Europe Open Championships here in Gibraltar. Deb Jones, thank you very much for being with us, and good luck to the UAE for the rest of the tournament.
I just want to say thanks to you, for the opportunity to be here. It's just fantastic to be part of the Netball Europe family.
We are delighted to have both you and the Isle of Man with us. My special thanks, of course, to all the team here at the Victoria Stadium, our partners QTV Sports and Gib Media for bringing the live streaming to you, and of course for all of you at home, wherever you are in the world.